Hey guys, October 23rd, 2025 here with your after hours recap. So a little bit yesterday, I was talking about maybe some of these names kind of having a bit of a rebound. There are some things that are having a bit of a rebound, and we can look at a few of these speculative stocks that had gotten beaten up quite a bit. And then, here you are, you're kind of just giving a little bit of a bounce. But then really you've got some of these metal stocks that just are not cooperating. MP not cooperating. I did go ahead and close. This one kind of hurts. I did go ahead and close my UAMY yesterday, about $1.50 higher than here. I closed it when it took out its intraday high and prior day high. So not feeling too happy about that, but it is what it is. No big deal. I did go ahead and put on some Oracle today on the hold and the bounce from the 50 simple moving average, just effectively a 5-minute opening range break. Really nice push this morning. And then I also bought some Dell today, similar deal. The one that I missed, unfortunately, was CrowdStrike, and that one was absolutely beautiful. I was talking about Dell this morning and even last night. Over 150, 150. I just bought this as a 5-minute opening range break, and it has done a really nice job just kind of hanging out near those highs. So the market has been good. Software stocks have been fantastic. CrowdStrike, new all-time closing high is what it looks like we are going to get. That is very nice to see. And then, some of these recent earnings names, Tesla, the most notable, where you had a bit of a gap down and then just an all-day rally today. That is just awesome to see. So still a position that I own. And if this thing, can give us any kind of a pullback tomorrow into 60-minute support, or really even a break over 250, I think that might be pretty interesting for tomorrow to maybe put some on as well there. Yesterday, there were some stocks that I felt were buyable. I wasn't prepared for them, unfortunately, that were buyable off of the 50 simple moving average. Hood being one of those, bounces right off the 50-day down here, about 123 bucks. And then, here you are, $11 higher. Really nice. NBIS, another one of these that bounced right at the 50-day. Now 105 when your bounce was at about 96, and then started to give you, the entries that I look for. Very nice. And then CoreWeave, another one. So it's like a lot of these stocks are bouncing off the 50-day. That's just awesome to see. And then today, continuation higher, did take out prior day high, didn't close, or we're not, necessarily still another 15 minutes to go as I'm making this video, but not quite closed at that prior day high. The job here, I think, is really simple. Continue to track names that are holding up well, not very extended. Continue to track stocks on earnings if they're acting well or acting poor. You could look at a Tesla and say that is acting pretty well. And then on the other hand, you could look at a Netflix. And yes, you did try to reclaim the 200 simple moving average today, but one of those where you just go, is this really a stock I want to own? Right? If you get beaten up on earnings, I want to see almost buying come in immediately. Something like a VRT. This is the kind of action that you really want to see from your earnings names. Yes, it has a kind of a nasty down day, but instantly gets bought right back up and right back into that pivot. That is exactly what I am looking for. This is tennis ball action. Netflix, a little bit like an egg. So not trying to trade the eggs. I am trying to trade the stocks that are bouncy balls. And Tesla, of course, also fits the bill for a stock that is acting like a bouncy ball at the moment. So really nice to see. I don't know if I can buy more of this tomorrow. We'll see if really we can start to push over that 450 pivot, but really no opinion. The thing that I'm probably most interested in right now is this MAGS ETF. I know a lot of these names are due to report, but this is about as pretty as it gets. It actually makes me confident that the large caps do want to go higher. And if the large caps go higher, we're talking Apple, Microsoft, Google, Meta, Tesla, NVDA, probably some supportive action in a name like Oracle, AVGO. We're seeing semiconductors as well, like RMBS, continue to act well. LRCX, ASML, KLAC. Just really nice action, everywhere. If you're not really quote unquote speculative or speculative money. Some of that stuff is bouncing back a little bit, but I've got about 0% confidence that these names are going back to hit an all-time high at least this year. So when I look at a Rigetti, when I look at an IONQ, when I look at an Oklo, when I look at a SMR, when I look at Iron, I'm not convinced that these names are going to hit a new high in the next 8 weeks, right? It just seems highly, highly, highly unlikely. But this MAGS ETF looks amazing. The IGV ETF looks like a beautiful bull flag right into the 50. Do we have a little bit more chopping around to do? Maybe. But it really does look like this thing is going to continue higher. And when you look around in the IGV ETF, or you look around at some of the cybersecurity stocks or software application names, software infrastructure, they're just acting fantastic. They look great. So I don't really see a reason to be negative really on the quality companies in the market until we see some more red flags. Or failed breakouts. I think that then maybe it becomes a little bit more pronounced. Obviously, earnings for some of these Mag 7 names going into next week. And then what happens from there? Do they sell off like Tesla and then get bought right back up? Do they gap up and then sell off? Do they gap up and continue higher? Do they gap down and continue lower? We really don't know the answer to these questions. So for now, just continue to take it one day at a time, one setup at a time. Like I said, I was able to get myself involved in Oracle off of the 50-day today. I was able to get myself involved in Dell right over that little cheat spot over 151.5. So there's still really, really nice action, and there's still some great stocks hanging in there and setting up. So we'll just, again, continue to monitor. I thought the crude oil stocks looked pretty good yesterday. I listed a bunch of them, starting with DINO and XOM. You had this really nice, push into the close yesterday, and then a gap up overnight, and then another push today. Really nice to see. And then, VLO had earnings. This one was, just awesome, fantastic on earnings. I mean, just awesome, right? You make a really nice clean linear move up, you pull back, not tons of distribution in here, a pullback right into the 50, good earnings, a gap up, a push. Awesome for the oil stocks. Really nice to see, honestly, and we continue to monitor that sector for some potential entries. I think, I missed Dino yesterday. I was looking right at it. I tweeted about it, and then it started to push towards the close. Just awesome move, and of course I did nothing with it. I was like, we're going into the close. I'm just going to leave it alone. But of course they gap it up today, and then they drive it higher. But we'll see. I think the quality stocks are definitely viable. Some of the MAGs, some of the IGV stocks related, so software, stuff like Snowflake or stuff like Zscaler, CrowdStrike, MDB, et cetera, right? Things that are in that software application, software infrastructure sector, I think continue to look really good and constructive. I think semiconductors continue to look pretty damn good. Just look at RMBS, looking awesome. Look at how strong AMD continues to act. NVIDIA holding on to its 50-day. That is very important. And ultimately, Microsoft still looks good. Apple still looks good. Google still looks great. Meta trying to get above the 50 simple moving average, and Amazon bounced off to 200. So I don't really see a reason to be negative unless the market gives us one. And yes, it's a little bit choppy, but the stocks just continue to crawl back and set up and potentially get ready for another leg higher. So I'm staying optimistic. I don't see any real reason to get super negative. I was, negative on some of the more fluffy, shitty stocks, right? The high flyers, rare earths going bananas. Wish I kind of would have hung on to my UAMY, but it is what it is. I did go ahead and short some more Rigetti today. I kind of, posted a little meme seeing these things bounce today. And what does this do? It literally just hits its declining 20 simple moving average, or really flattening 20 simple moving average today, and then starts to break down. So I did short it with the expectation that 42 might hold. If we can break above 42, I will be out very quickly, and then the higher the better, right? If these things want to go to 45, 46, 47, then I think that they, could be maybe tried again potentially for a short there. But ultimately, these are just some turds. And I don't think that the news that we were seeing today with the government buying into quantum, as I think that first the news was like $10 million grants or $10 million awards, or I don't know how they phrased it. And then the news came out from Reuters today that nope, that's actually false. And then Righetti's on CNBC saying like, nope, we're actually in communication with the government. And it's like, yeah, asking them for a grant doesn't mean anything. But anyway, I digress. Obviously, there's news back and forth. It's a pretty fluid situation. Do not remain stubborn with the thesis, right? Just because I call them turds does not actually make them actual turds. I think quantum can be fine if done by probably one of the bigger players like Google or like IBM or even like Microsoft. Probably not by one of these little garage band companies. So we will see what happens in the market from here. I just continue to think buybacks or pullbacks to ascending moving averages still feel like the right move for now, and then just track relative strength on stocks that are rebounding on earnings. And I think that that's kind of the way to go. You were given an opportunity yesterday with CoreWeave, with Hood, with NBIS. Go back and look at that. Go back and look at how they all started to turn together in the afternoon. And that's usually a pretty sweet, buyable spot. And then, if stocks gap down on earnings, you want to see them rebound quickly. Buyer interest is still there. Institutional interest is still there. Look at Tesla. I mean, it's up 2% today. Off the lows, it's up $30. I mean, that is just awesome action. And, it feels like without really even, knowing for sure that we are going to be at an all-time high, $500 plus, maybe even by year end. So I'm kind of staying optimistic for that. And we'll see. We'll just continue to take things one day at a time. Hopefully you guys all had awesome trading days this week and today. And you guys stay disciplined for the remainder of the week. Like I said, just take it one setup, one day at a time. Don't be in a rush to get all your money to work. And I will see you guys all bright and early in the morning. Cheers.